What's up, guys? This is Timoteus. I recently got my hands on this DVD. It's a Belgian-Italian production called Il Primo Re. Internationally, it's known as The First King, Romulus and Remus. And I hadn't done a movie review in a while, so I thought I'd do one now. Hope you enjoy. The story revolves around arguably the most famous twin brothers in all of mythology, Romulus and Remus. The former, who according to the myth founded Rome, has been getting quite a bit of media attention recently, as a grave has been discovered that some claim may actually be his. All in all, I quite like the movie. First, let me say something about the movie's language. For the dialogue, the movie makers relied on a team of experts to reconstruct archaic Latin.
Vede, Biblia prodesti hadis. Albaisumus.
The fact that they actually attempted to reconstruct this language is in itself incredibly impressive in my opinion. Bravo to the team of experts, to the movie makers for having the guts to make that decision, but also to the actors who pull it off amazingly. Almost all of the actors make it seem like they're actually speaking their mother tongue. The acting is outstanding in general, and one really feels like one has traveled back in time to witness this fascinating late Bronze Age culture with its own norms and values. Not all that much is known about how the Italic peoples in the 8th century BC lived, but the clothing and the props in general looked quite believable as far as I could tell. The swords brandished by the twin brothers, for example, look very similar to museum pieces from that era that I've seen. Details like that really gave me the impression that the makers did their homework. Another detail the movie did right, in my opinion, is the physical appearance of the actors. Every actor or actress looks like he or she could have lived in Iron Age Italy. Although that may not seem like such a hard box to tick, almost every movie or series I've seen set in ancient Rome or Greece features an abnormal number of actors with blonde hair and blue eyes, or in any case, actors whose facial features give away that they have roots in the British Isles, Polynesia, or what have you. In many cases, these productions are still quite good, and the actors often do an excellent job. But as someone who's interested in genetics, I always appreciate it when filmmakers pay attention to the phenotypes that would have been present at a certain time and place. There were also no over-the-top bodybuilders, fake lips or breasts, pearl-white dental veneers, fake lashes, and other stuff that screams 21st century pornography and tends to break the spell for me in many mainstream productions. I really applaud the effort to make every little detail look as realistic as possible. There was, I think, a hint of Hollywood influence in the battle scenes where several combatants were fighting at the same time. I'm thinking exaggerated sweeping motions with the weapons, too many sworded exchanges before one of the two fighters goes down, etc. But the one-on-one fights, on the other hand, look quite convincing overall. An appropriate rising of tension before the first blow, a very limited number of exchanges before the fight is ended, and some overall messiness that makes it hard to see who is doing what and who hit whom. And that's what real fights look like, so I love it. I also want to mention the beautiful scenery throughout the movie. The gloomy atmosphere created by the lighting is masterly. So up until now, I've been mainly praising the movie, but I have a few critical comments as well. First of all, the pace of the movie is quite slow. I didn't mind terribly myself, as I've grown used to sitting through dozens of Kurosawa Akira movies, but I think someone who's not particularly interested in Roman history might get bored at some point. Then, concerning what the movie looked like, although I liked the appearance of the actors as I mentioned earlier, it took me a few scenes to tell some of the characters apart, as they're mostly dark-haired, bearded men with a lot of dirt on their faces. So at times I was a bit confused at the beginning of the movie, but I guess in a way that adds to the realism. There was only one thing that slightly bothered me about the props, and that's those pseudo-ancient cuffs. It has been established that leather cuffs on ancient Romans are pretty much a modern invention, but modern filmmakers just can't help themselves and put them in every movie set in antiquity, although there's no evidence for this at all from antiquity itself. This movie is set centuries before the peak of Roman civilization though, so can I prove that the Italic peoples in the 8th century BC did not wear those kind of cuffs? No, I can't. But they're just such a dumb cliche that I would have preferred if they just omitted them. And then finally, what I personally found most disappointing about the movie is that there's absolutely no scene, not even a flashback or a dream or something like that features the she-wolf that adopted and suckled Romulus and Remus when they were infants. I think the filmmakers may have done this on purpose, to not break the extremely realistic vibe the movie gives off. I think every scene was meant to look like it actually could have happened, and mentioning the she-wolf would have added a supernatural, mythological dimension to the movie that I assume they deemed undesirable. So I respect their decision in a way. But that part of the story is so iconic, it's the only part of the story most people know, that I did miss it. Even a very brief, vague scene showing the she-wolf would have easily become an epic, goosebumps-inducing scene that would have lifted this movie to an even higher level. So in conclusion, stunningly realistic movie, but maybe not for everyone. Okay, I hope you liked my review guys. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, comment and subscribe for more movie reviews and other ancient Rome stuff. If you want to find out more about the Romulus and Remus, check out my video on the Lupercalia. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video and another one on screen. You can also follow me on Facebook if you like Greco-Roman art and weaponry. This was Timotheus, thanks for watching, and another big thank you to my subscribers for helping me hit that 1,000 subscribers mark.